Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Nigeria's main opposition, People's Democratic Party, apologizes to Nigerians over leadership failures, says it has learned lessons from mistakes made while in power. Court fixes April 25th to deliver judgment in the case seeking to stop the National Assembly from overriding President Buhari's veto to the 2018 Electoral Act amendment. President Buhari calls for more investment in agricultural research and development to boost food production as the Nation Food Security Council comes on stream. And wave of diplomatic expulsions by the United States and European Union countries as dispute with Russia over alleged poisoning of former spy deepens.
On business news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari signs agreement with Switzerland to return illegally acquired assets to the country.
And in sports news, Super Eagles captain John Obi Mikel says he's disappointed missing Tuesday night's friendly against Serbia, challenges Nigeria to step up game against her opponents.
And from Abuja, traders clash with security personnel over the demolition of Gosa Market in the nation's capital.
We begin tonight with the apology by the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, to Nigerians over what it calls the past mistakes and failures. The national chairman of the party, Uche Secondus, tendered the apology at a public discourse organized by the People's Democratic Party to analyze and reposition it for next year's general elections. Our correspondent, Terry Ikumi, reports.
Resetting the agenda of nation building. Welcome all of you.
Nation building, resetting the agenda. That is the theme of this gathering, which has brought together former vice presidents, former governors, former and serving lawmakers, and other chieftains of the People's Democratic Party. The national chairman of the PDP, Prince Uche Secondus, boldly apologizes for the mistakes of the past.
On behalf of my colleagues, members of this party, we apologize to Nigerians that we have made our mistakes and we are ready to correct them.
The event is well attended, suggesting that the PDP has put its house in order and also puts behind it past internal divisions, which many say was responsible for its loss at the polls in 2015.
We are now going to say goodbye to imposition, goodbye to impunity, welcome to rule of law.
Members of the party were excluded. There was a lot of exclusion in participatory democracy. And of course, there was a lot of elements of corruption, hatred, and what have you.
Some mistakes were made in the process. Now, this time around, whatever it is that we are going to make, we will be very conscious of making sure that we do not repeat the same mistakes that have been done before.
We want a better Nigeria. We want somebody who has capacity at the state, at the local government, at the nation.
The national chairman explains the reason for the apology.
When we were in government in 16 years, it was the era of impunity, imposition, and several other things that we may not be able to mention, God knows. And it was proper that when you make mistake, you come out clean and apologize and ask for forgiveness.
The People's Democratic Party says it is on a mission to reset and rescue Nigeria after realizing and learning from its past mistakes. It also believes that come 2019, it will present viable candidates that will wrestle back power from the ruling APC. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the national executive of the ruling All Progressives Congress are holding a caucus meeting at the presidential villa in Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari is presiding over the meeting with the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, in attendance. Others are the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, APC National Chairman, John Oyegu, members of Cabinet and APC National Working Committee, governors, and other party chieftains. And still talking politics, a federal high court in Abuja has reserved judgment in a suit challenging the powers of the National Assembly to pass laws affecting the sequence of the 2019 general elections. Justice Muhammad gave the date after lawyers to parties in the suit argued their written addresses. The Accord Party had filed the suit against the National Assembly, the Attorney General of the Federation and the Independent National Electoral Commission, following the refusal of President Muhammadu Buhari to assent to the amended Electoral Bill 2018. Our correspondent Amaka Okafo reports.
At the last proceedings, Justice Ahmed Mohammed adjourned the case for parties to address the court and adopt their briefs in the suit challenging the powers of the National Assembly to override President Muhammadu Buhari after he refused to sign the amended Electoral Act into law. Counsel to the Accord Party, Mr. Wole Olanipekun, in his submission, urged the court to answer in the affirmative questions raised in the plaintiff's originating summons and grant all the reliefs sought. According to Olanipekun, the orders of the election as proposed in the Election Amendment Bill 2018 is virtually impossible and impracticable when taken into consideration INEC's powers to postpone elections it is constitutionally empowered to conduct. Responding, Counsel to the National Assembly, Mr. Joseph Daudu, argued that the court lacks jurisdiction to entertain the suit since what has been contested is a bill and not an act, adding that until the bill is passed into law, either by the assent of the President or a two-third majority of the legislature, the court lacks jurisdiction to hear the case. Responding, the Attorney General of the Federation, who is a second respondent, aligned himself with the position of the plaintiff. The AGS submits that once a bill is passed by the two chambers of the National Assembly, the legislature has concluded its job, and from that standpoint, the court has jurisdiction. Similarly, counsel to the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mr. Femi Falana, argued that whether the bill has been passed or is still pending at the National Assembly does not stop the court from hearing the matter. The counsel to the plaintiff and other respondents declined to comment on the case. But counsel to the National Assembly had this to say.
What we have just argued is whether a bill in the National Assembly can be subjected to the powers of the court. Our position is that a bill is not right until it turns to an act. They are saying the other way around.
All parties will now wait for the next 1 month to hear the decision of the court. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released the details of the recall process of the senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Dino Milaye. According to the new schedule released this evening and signed by the Electoral Commission Secretary, Augusta Ogako, INEC is expected to give the notice of recall as stipulated by law on March the 27th, while the verification exercise will hold on April the 28th. The outcome of the verification will be released on the following day, that is, April the 29th. INEC is acting on the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which asked the Commission to go ahead with the process earlier this month. In his constituency, 188,588 registered voters are said to have signed the support of the recall process. The 188,588 voters were said to have constituted 52.3% of the 360,098 total registered voters in the Kogi West Senatorial District. The senator has indicated that he will appeal the case to challenge the decision of the appellate court. The River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, believes that Nigeria at this time needs courageous men and women to identify and stand for truth for the sake of the national interest. The governor said this today during the swearing-in of 2 judges, each into the High Court and the customary Court of Appeal in the state. He explains that the era of calling on judges to be firm on what is right may no longer be necessary, given what he describes as critical times when the country's judiciary must do well to check the excesses of the other arms of government.
The policy of having sworn in new judges, you begin to admonish them. For me, it's no longer necessary. You have taken your oath of office. If you want to abide to it, it's your business. If you don't want to abide to it, it's your business. Whatever you do, you will give account of yourself. So is telling you to be firm is no longer necessary. If you want to be firm, you be firm. If you don't want to be firm, it's your business.
Arrested Governor Nyesom Wike. President Muhammad Buhari is calling for greater investment in research and development to enhance food production, as he admits that Nigeria's journey in the last 3 years has been turbulent. The president was speaking during the inauguration of the National Food Security Council in Abuja today, where he explains that the council, which includes governors from the 6 geopolitical zones, will address common threats in the area of food security, among other things. Our correspondent, Gloria Omezuke, reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari presides over the inauguration of the National Food Security Council, constituted nearly 2 weeks ago. The president is pushing for more investments in research and development to enhance food production as well as protect the nation from unhealthy imports.
The council is therefore a platform to further enhance the collaboration between the federal and state governments. We shall share success stories and collaborate to address common threats. Regular consultations will be held with investors, development partners, financiers, academia, and our friends and allies abroad.
At a joint briefing after the closed-door meeting, the council's vice chairman and governor of Kebbi State spoke of the council's mantra to, among other things, reduce importation and ensure food sufficiency.
The council will further deepen the gains that have been achieved in the last 2.5 years by providing more opportunities for all stakeholders and all participants.
The Chief of Defense Staff, however, addressed major concerns that could jeopardize ongoing efforts.
The secured environment is germane to any progress. And of course, about the headers and farmers, what we need to do is to step up our operations. We have operations all over the 6 geopolitical zones to step up our operations to ensure that the environment is secured for the farmers and, of course, for the headers also.
Once and for all, we want to start a new institutional framework that actually takes Nigeria away from a monolithic economy. That's where, we've actually been just a producer of crude oil. And this time around, we should actually create a platform that allows us to really address issues that relate to agric and then, national food security.
The Food Security Council would be meeting as often as demanded to straighten grey areas that might bear grave implications for food security in the country. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, President Buhari receives family of the late Martin Luther King Jr. in Abuja. Plus, more on the agriculture sector development. Wale Oyeko, Chairman, Agric Sector LCCI, broadens the scope. Please stay with us.